Okay, here we are back with the Kawasaki KLR650. I keep getting that wrong, but there it is, it's written on the front there. Now, some of the things I've done to this bike to make it more rideable is what I want to talk to you about today. Now, I haven't got a centre stand on this bike. You can, oops, I don't get hooked up to my cables. You can get a centre stand for these, but I haven't invested in that so far, and I want to show you later on how to change the front sprocket. So I've got it sitting up on a box and it's quite stable. Give it a bit of a wiggle. It's not going to fall over and kill me. It's just sitting up there quite nicely. But I just want to run through a couple of the mods I've done just to make it more comfortable. And the biggest thing, now this is a 2013 model, and just hang on a minute while I change my, I've got the tripod sticking in me. This is a 2013 model, and that was the last model to come out with a absolutely horrendously uncomfortable seat. The 2014 and 2015 models have got a seat very similar to this one. I had this one custom made. I just couldn't stand the old one. Couldn't ride more than about an hour with getting a really sore backside, and I wanted to do this 2-day adventure ride that I talked about in the last video, and there was no way I was going to be able to cope with that on the old seat. The first day of that ride actually took 12 hours by the time we got everybody through the course, and so this seat was godsend. So I had this one custom made, cost me 460 New Zealand dollars. I think that's probably equivalent if you wanted to get something made in the States. It would probably cost you a similar sort of amount. You can buy aftermarket seats for these. They're up around the $700 US mark, and I just didn't want to pay that sort of money. However, I had this one made and it's very good. So that's the first mod, comfortable seat, and it's really good. It's got it's wider. It's quite firm, but very comfortable. Like I said, did a 12-hour day on it, and I was fine. The other few little things I've done to it, not much. I'll shift my gloves out of the way. I wanted a GPS on this bike, but I didn't have one, and I didn't want to spend $600, $700, $800 on a expensive GPS unit. So what I did was I did a bit of inquiry, and my son actually uses rides off-road in the desert in the Middle East, and when you're riding in the desert it's very easy to get lost. So he has a little GPS he uses, just hangs it around his neck, and it's the receiver, and it connects to his iPhone, or in this case my iPhone, and all you need is an app on the iPhone to talk to the GPS unit. Now I downloaded an app, it's the Motion X app, which talks to the GPS unit, and worked fantastically well. It's just absolutely amazing how well it worked. So I needed a mounting for my iPhone on the bike. So I got this thing. Now this is the, again, you can buy expensive RAM mounts that are on the market. It's a little bit hard to see that, but you can buy expensive RAM mounts that are excellent. This is the mounting that comes with the life-proof case. Now, you may, if you've got an iPhone, you may be aware of the life-proof cases, but it's just a case that's totally waterproof, shock-proof, life-proof. You can do pretty much anything. We can even put the phone underwater and it'll be waterproof. So my son actually gave me this because he didn't need it anymore. He's bought an iPhone 6 and this only fits the iPhone 5. So I got that from him, I got the GPS from him, but then I had no way of mounting it on the bike. Now I originally had it on the windshield there, just stuck up in here on one of those suction cup things. And it was great on the road for about the first half an hour, and when I started the difficult off-road parts, it was okay as well until I crashed. And when I fell off, I knocked it, and of course it went flying, and that was the end of that. So it eventually fell to bits as we went on, but I had some duct tape in my tool bag, so I taped this unit onto the handlebars just right here, and I had it wrapped on with duct tape, and it's been there for about, well, since that ride, which was a month ago now, over a month ago. So it was just hanging there, but I thought, well, there's got to be a better way of doing this. So I just thought about it for a minute and looked at it, and I knew that's the position I wanted it in. These are aftermarket bars on this bike. Those of you who don't know the Kawasaki won't have noticed that, but it is an aftermarket bar. The original ones were just too weak, and I bent them just with just a bit of rough riding. I managed to bend them. So I put these aftermarket ones on, and they've got this crossbar across here which bolts on. So what I did was, I mean, I don't know whether I can show you very well, but on the back side of it here, just here, there, I took the bolt out of the crossbar and I cut the plastic mounting for the holder, drilled a hole in it and bolted it directly to the bike, and it's really, really good. I honestly didn't think it would work, but it did, and it's been there for a few weeks now, and it's just good as gold. And you've got a ball attachment up here that you can loosen, tighten, and change the angle of the thing. But that's just exactly how I want it at the moment. So that was the first thing I did. Second thing was all KLRs come with handguards, plastic handguards, but they're just plastic, and they come to there and finish, and they flop around in the breeze, and they keep your hands warm on a cold day. But they're no good for off-road stuff. If you're going to be falling off and crashing into trees and tipping over like I do, you need protection for your bars and for your levers. Now, this clutch lever is bent. You'll notice that it's quite significantly bent, and that was with this on. I fell off, and I hit a tree root, and the tree root came up underneath and bent that lever up and forward. Fortunately, it didn't break, and I've managed to get it down to that shape there without breaking it. But I know that if I try to straighten it back further, it'll break. So I've just left it like that. But these are a Cerbis or a Cherbis, or however you say it, Italian brand. They are plastic, very, very strong, but also flexible. So they're not going to, when you fall off and you hit the ground hard or you hit a rock or something, they're not going to bend the rest of your bike. They'll either break or they'll just bend. And I found them to be really, really good, because I've fallen off a few times now, and they're great. They work really, really well. So that was the next thing. What else did I do? Oh, power. I wanted power to, let's come around here. I wanted power to power the GPS, because when you've got an iPhone running a GPS, they use a lot of power. So the battery goes flat very, very quickly. So I don't know whether you can see that, but down here I've got a 12-volt cigarette lighter outlet, and if I just take it off there, you'll be able to see. Oh, come on. They're waterproof, so it's easy. They're marine grade stainless steel, so they're not going to rust. So that's the 12-volt one. And on this side, you've got a 5-volt USB connector. Now that whole unit just clamps onto the handlebars. It's a bit flexible, but it doesn't matter. It's good. It won't come off my brake. I got that on eBay out of Hong Kong for $10 US. Unbelievable. Like $12 New Zealand, landed with free shipping. Unbelievable. So if you're looking for that sort of thing, go to eBay and get the stuff from Hong Kong or China. It's just unbelievably cheap and really, really good. I've tested it in all sorts of conditions, rain as well, and yeah, absolutely no problem with it. Now it's wired directly to the battery via a fuse with its own wire, and it was a bit of fun getting that mounted. I had to take the tank off, take off all this front fairing, the screen, the seat, and ran the cable underneath all the way to the battery, which is just in under there. It took a long time to get it to do it, but yeah, it's all part of the game. It's all part of the fun. So I've done that, and that's about it. I can't really think of anything else I've done to this bike. However, having done that, and having now proved that I can ride it comfortably, I know where I'm going with my GPS on there. I can't put my phone on the holder because that's what I'm using to record this video on. So can't do that, but that's where it goes, and it clips in there. It stays. It never fell off. Never missed a beat. It was unbelievably good. So that's I know that I like this bike and I know what I want. The other thing I wanted to mention was that these bikes are cheap, and they're cheap for a reason. That it's a 1987 design, hasn't changed much since then, but it's good. It's bulletproof, single cylinder 650. They just don't break, really. you get a few little issues with them, and one of the big issues that I have is that with that single cylinder engine bouncing up and down, it vibrates like crazy, and at 6,500 revs, sorry, not 6,500, at 4,000 revs, it's nice. You get a bit of vibration, but it's you can cope with it. It comes up through the foot pegs and it comes up through the handlebars, but it's okay. It's quite comfortable, and you can chug along at that speed all day. But the speed is only 80 to 90 kilometers an hour, and anything over that, like 4,500 revs is 100 kilometers an hour. 5,000 revs is 110, 120 kilometers an hour, which is where I really like to be on this bike. It just seems to like it at that speed. And sometimes you want to go faster. If you live in America, you want to be able to be doing at least 70, 80 miles an hour on the freeways to keep up. I know the speed limit's 65, sometimes 70. In England, the speed limit's 70 on the motorways, so you want to be able to keep up with the traffic there. So at 5,000 revs, she vibrates a lot, and I find I get numbness in my hands, particularly on the throttle hand. Forever stretching my hand to relieve the numbness there, and up through my feet, and my feet sort of go a little bit numb, and it's just unpleasant. You can put up with it, but it's unpleasant. And if you're doing anything further than 150, 200 kilometers in one go, you're pleased to get off the damn thing because it vibrates so much. So the answer to that problem is to change the front sprocket, and they down here now they do that a lot in America. That's a 15 tooth front sprocket. If you want more off-road grunt, low down, you put on a 14 tooth, and that just lowers the gearing and makes it rev higher, but of course great for off-road. But if you're riding to an event and want to ride home again, you don't want to be swapping the sprocket over all the time. I'm going to change that front sprocket to a 16 tooth, which will give it higher gearing, which will eliminate the vibration at the speed that I want to be traveling at. So 100 kilometers an hour up to say 130 kilometers an hour, it should be good because it'll be staying under a 4,500 revs is what I'm picking, and I'm pretty sure that's how it'll go. And if it doesn't, even at 100 kilometers an hour, there won't be any vibration because it'll be right down, around the 4,000 rev range. Now these engines have got so much torque, it doesn't matter. You might think that you're going to be compromising first gear performance, and you are to a point, but if you're only going to ride it on the road, then it doesn't matter. The torque is huge and the clutch is strong enough to handle it. So you won't have any problems. And I've heard of other people who do this in the forums and what have you. They just don't have any problem in it, and they use these bikes a lot for commuting in the States. And with that 16 tooth front sprocket, they don't have any problem. Now I've got it perched up on a box like I mentioned before. Quite stable, it won't tip over. So that's all for now. In the next video we'll settle down and we'll get stuck into removing that front sprocket and replacing it with a 16 tooth. I'll just come over here and show you what it looks like. Here it is. Trusty eBay again. Now I'm on the light there, can't see. Here it is. Now I tried to buy this in New Zealand, couldn't get one. They just don't sell them. You can get the 14 tooth and you can get the 15 tooth, but you cannot buy a 16 tooth sprocket here for love of money. So I went to eBay, $23 US. Cost me another 20 bucks to get it here, but for, I think with the exchange rate and everything, it was $50 to get it here, and it arrived within 10 days from the States. So I've certainly got no argument with that. Here is the thing. So we'll be sticking that on, hopefully. I presume this is a genuine Kawasaki part. This one. It's not an aftermarket one. It's even got the blooming. I don't know if you can see that. It's even got the Kawasaki part number on it. So it's a genuine Kawasaki part for 23 US bucks. So there you go. So we'll get that ready and we'll stick it on shortly. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching and listening, and I'll be back soon in the next video if I can turn it off. Maybe I used to use the remote. Here we go. Hello, there's Crystal on the chair.